Being a dad is hard. It's high stakes. It takes a toll on our self-worth, mental health, and can be lonely. But why would we ever want to do something so important in isolation? Legacy Makers, a conversation for dads, is quite simply two normal dads having conversations about, you guessed it, being a dad. The highs, the lows, and the learnings along the way. We are four dads. We want to remedy the deficiency we see in community for dads, and we want to ruthlessly encourage dads on their journey to build lasting legacy for the faces they love the most.
All right, Eric, back in action. I know you travel a ton. I was coming home from a trip earlier this week, and I struggle when I get back home because I feel this tension with the kids. On one hand, I've been gone. I want to come home. I want to be the fun dad, which is the area that I thrive in. Like the rules are not as important, but I also feel like as a dad, I need to come home and reinforce the things that Laura's been talking about. I need to, the kids are bouncing off the wall. They're not listening. I'm curious how you handle. Let me give you one other quote about this. There's E.B. White, the one that wrote Charlotte's Web, said, "I arise in the morning torn between a desire to improve the world and a desire to enjoy the world. That makes it hard to plan the day." That's what I feel like is being a dad. Like I show up every day torn between a desire to be the fun dad and to be like a real dad. That makes it hard to plan the day. How do you balance that?
It's tough too, especially, I don't know.
Where do you live on the spectrum there?
Definitely more on the fun dad side, I think. I mean, my kid, I feel that way. But I'm with you. I also, I don't know if you get this way too, but when you're gone, you have this like yearning to be home and you can't wait to get home. And you're like, when I get home, I just can't, I'm going to be in it. And then you get home and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a tornado here. It's like, it's a complete tornado. So like you really, I find myself having to like, I'm good like a couple hours after I'm home, but like the re-entry period, I've got to like park in the driveway, take a moment, like get ready, because it's like the chaos. I got to ease into it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's a really tough one. Brittany is she has to be more of the heavy because she's with them way more than I am. She stays at home with the kids. We were, had the really tough decision early on, and she was doing some nonprofit work and decided, hey, look, this is where my place is for now. And so that's, her role is amazing. And I don't know how she does it, but she is the heavy, because if she's not the heavy, the amount of time she spends with them, our kids would be just off the walls.
Yeah, I mean, Laura is definitely, she's the consistent one when it comes to reinforcing the routines and the behaviors. And similar, Laura works, but she's home with them much more than I am. Okay, we talked about where our bias is, but I'm curious, where do you think we should be? Because on one hand, I want to create memories. I want my kids to remember these times, but I also, I think we've seen the results of parenting that's only fun.
Yeah.
Like you probably work with people like that maybe needed a little more structure. Where do you think we should be?
Yeah, I think we have to be tighter, especially early on. I think we've talked about the importance of, it's when they're little, being really tight and strict, and it can be exhausting because you feel almost as though you're correcting all day long. Correcting all day long. But if you parent tight up front, right? We've talked about this. As they get older, theoretically, if you've done a good job and you've been consistent, they have a better idea of right from wrong. They have a better idea of your expectations. They have a better idea of how they need to operate in the world. And then you start kind of widening, and you give them a little bit more room to kind of test some things and figure out things. But unfortunately, I think what's happening today is, for a lot of reasons, could be busy, dual income, people are all over the place. And it's just easier to parent in a way that says yes. But parents oftentimes are like, they're wide early. So now these kids are, early on in their life, they're having way more leniency. They're not as disciplined. And then as they get teenagers, the parents want to tighten.
This is so true.
And they're like,
I think
they've spent their whole life getting whatever they want. Now at 13, you're going to try to tell a kid, like, no, we're going to be real strict. So as hard as it is, that'd be the biggest advice I would tell, and we didn't do as good of a job with our oldest as we are now. We've got 11 all the way down to 4. But if you parent tight early and then loosen the reins a little bit, you're going to have a way easier a time as they get older.
But that's tough. Intellectually, I'm in agreement with you. But when the kids are young, it's like, well, this doesn't really matter that much right now. And there's a tendency to just say, well, they're going to get away with us. And I know we talked about in a conversation we had, sometimes maybe the difference in the way we parent girls versus boys. I mean, yeah. my daughter gets away with way more than my son does. And but I also find that I'm the strictest when it comes to things that I care about. But there are other areas that Laura has reinforced, and I'm far more lenient on.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing, though. So, yes, I think you're right. Intellectually, we're all nodding. It's harder to execute. But back to the kind of comment about gradually than suddenly, gradually, it's going to turn into something that is not, it's going to be real hard to unwind. And you know what I mean? Like, so and the hardest part is a lot of times it's just easier to say, okay, like let them do the thing. Like I'm exhausted, but like I said, there's some days like weekends that I feel like I have been nonstop correcting behavior.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
It's just nonstop.
Let me ask you this. You said gradually, and then you get down there. Here's a fun one. Have you ever taught your kids something that you thought was fun at the time that then they did down the road and they got in trouble for and you regretted?
It sounds like you have something in mind.
I can't think of a specific thing. It happens all the time, though. I'm saying something at our house that I think's fun. I teach the kids something, and then like I taught my kids. I think it was in Ace Ventura. I think Jim Carrey used to call somebody a loser. He'd say loser.
Oh, yeah.
And now my kids on a baseball field, they win, and he's holding up the L and he's saying loser. And now I'm in an argument with Laura because I have taught my kids, but I think I assume like, oh, he's smart enough to know that you can only do this and like he can do it taunting me, but he can't go taunt another kid and call him a loser.
Yeah, there's a couple things I've done. I'm not going to share a few of them, but like some of them are around wrestling.
Well, I know you guys do. Like, you love wrestling.
There's some wrestling things that I thought were funny.
When have they used those outside of that context?
Oh, at school, on the baseball field. So Bennett, Camden's my oldest. Benny's my little guy. He's not as gifted in sports at this point. Now he's found a sport that he loves. He's killing it at lacrosse. It's like his thing, which is great. But his big brother, like anything he touches, he's done well, right? So Benny though is a wrestler, like at heart.
Yeah.
He got a wrestling belt.
Now I just want people to understand this because they may not know. When you're talking about wrestling,
WWE.
Yes, you're talking
wrestling.
about like old school Diamond Dallas Page, Hulk Hogan,
all the way to the new school now. So Bennett, we got him a belt and he sleeps with it. I'm not kidding. Like I have a picture. He sleeps next to this belt. He's obsessed with wrestling. So he was playing flag football a few years ago, and there, the kind of throat slash thing, a wrestler that does it. So he and I would, do it at the house, like wrestling around, and like he makes this play on the football field, and the kid falls down, and he stands over him, and it's like this very animated WWE style, like throat slash, and like kind of like taunts the kid. And I'm just like, and everyone's looking. I'm just like, and by the way, he's not even close to being like one of the alphas on the team. He's like relatively like one of the
what is your
worst
reaction to that moment? Are you proud? Are you?
I'd start dying laughing audibly, and Brittany is next to me, and she's kind of like behind, and I like kind of slowly look, and she is just fuming, and I'm just like, I'm 40, but oftentimes I feel like an 8-year-old still, it's like sometimes I'm like, how am I a parent of 4 kids? But yeah, like you're right, you do stuff in there, you assume that again, they're going to have context to not do that outside the house, but you're their dad. Sometimes I have to remember that they're watching every little thing I do.
Okay. So I'm curious, where do you think our advice should be on serious versus a lot of fun? Because I think if you've talked about a lot in these, that these things aren't problems to solve, they're tensions to manage. I feel like it is easy to go to one end or the other.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think we have to be super agile. Like, I think that, dads these days, in the past, the kind of archetype of a dad.
All serious. You're the hammer.
You're the hammer, or you're not there because dad's always working, or dad, all the things we've seen on TV growing up, right? And I think there's a lot of research that shows just generationally there's been a ton of progress. Like
Yeah.
from 100 years ago to where we sit today, I think that every generation.
Yeah. What's the statistic you shared about millennial dads?
Yeah, I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's just like, I think it's like millennial dads are spending on average like 3x the time that their dads spent with them, like quality time, right? So, but I think dads have been kind of like that archetype of this is how you behave. And I think we have to be like, the key to this is being super agile. And one of the things I struggle with is when I'm frustrated with them, like I don't practice grace as much as I should, right? So if they do something, I'm frustrated, I should be able to really quickly bounce back, like correct it. This is what you need to do. And then show them how quickly, like, okay, now we're back. We're back to being the fun dad. Everything's cool, but you've got to be really agile and catch it and be able to correct it and do it in a meaningful way. But then can't hold a grudge or be frustrated or have it ruin your day and like have an emotional, because that's how they're going to see. They're going to see you that way. Which,
yep. I think that's good. So being agile, I think being consistent in the things that you're frustrated with. If something goes, it's okay to do this time, and then all of a sudden I'm mad about it later. That doesn't teach our kids anything.
No. And I think the other thing that for me that I try to think about is I'm often not as good maybe acting out the advice I'm giving them. I've really, really started the last probably 12 months, but last 90 days specifically, like being really focused on my emotions, right? Because very often they could be doing something that is wrong, but I've got 3 days of travel, stressed about something with work, and the thing they're doing doesn't really warrant the reaction that I've given because they're getting the brunt of a whole bunch of other stuff on top of that. So one of the things we talk a lot about with the boys right now is the pause. Like, hey, buddy, take a second before you speak that and just count. Take a big deep breath. But then on the flip side, I'll just react. So I think we've got to be super thoughtful about when we do correct, model how you're supposed to correct and use the right emotions and not overreact, because that's way more impactful. Because if you overreact, man, I've seen it. I can see it in my kids' faces. They're not hearing anything other than they're scared or, oh my gosh, dad's yelling or whatever it is. And just so counterproductive.
So being agile, being consistent, I think, I guess you're talking about emotional regulation, which is just not going to the extremes on things. Is there any other way that you think we can balance the play versus the intentionality? I guess maybe this is wrong. You can. In my mind, when we're playing, it doesn't mean we're being intentional. But I guess we can be intentional even in our play.
Yeah, I think so. I think I want to be liked. We all have things that are like, I'm an affirmation guy. And man, especially as Cam, my oldest, is getting older, there's this like tension where like he doesn't even want me to come to school for lunch anymore. It's funny because, he loves, he's a mama's boy. It's fine. But like, he's
the oldest.
He's the oldest.
You were the oldest.
I was the oldest.
Were you like this as well?
Yeah. But I feel like my dad was a dork. Like, I'm cool.
Now, I would just like to say Ira is really cool.
I don't know, man. But,
let me tell you how cool Ira is. I saw on social media this week. It was his birthday, and all of his daughters-in-law, is that how you pluralize it? Yeah. Daughters-in-law went and took him to breakfast or something?
Yeah, took him to breakfast. He might have
asked for that. Okay, there you go.
He might have sent an email that said something to the effect of, all I want for my birthday, but then there were like a list of a bunch of things, one of which was for his daughters to take him to breakfast, but they happily did it. He's great. But no, like, it's hard. I want to be cool. I want to be liked by the kids. And so sometimes that plays into it. I'm not with them as much as I want to be with them. I don't want them to feel like when dad is here, this is what happens. That the temperature of the house is now different because dad is in town. Dad is here. And so it's in my mind. Like, I don't want that to be, but you also can't allow the desire to be liked and the desire for play to impact who these kids are going to be long term. Because it may seem like, okay, that's a little bit doomsday or aggressive, but that's the reality. I mean, if you let stuff slide, they're like puppies. If you don't correct a puppy over time, like they're going to be a disaster of a dog for the whole life. Right. And I think you can't let the desire to be loved and liked and be the cool guy potentially impact their behavior and how they're going to show up down the line, because that's the whole legacy thing. What have you created?
Yeah, and I think you're bringing it back into focus. The legacy piece is the long view. And I think when we're in those moments, we got to make a decision that what's going to matter long term.
Yeah.
And there are times that the discipline is going to matter long term. This is a behavior that needs to be corrected. And there are other times where, probably more often than not, where they're going to remember the moment, the fun, the experience with dad that hopefully they're going to take with them for years to come.
Yeah. I think we overthink and believe that, hey, if I'm on them or I'm tough on them, I think they're kids. People say it's typically about like them being sick or having, but the resilience in kids, we underestimate. I think they bounce back real quick. They're going to bounce back even better if you also handle the correction in a way that's kind and graceful, but stern. If you overreact, you miss the opportunity to make that impact. But it's tough. It's tough for not just dads, but for parents, especially as we're busy, we're out of the house, people are going in different directions. And there's this pressure to got this window. I want the window to be enjoyable, but you can have a enjoyable window and also ensure you're going to put your kids in the best chances later in life.
All right, rapid fire as we close. Which one of these matters the most in these scenarios? Kid plays poorly on a sports field. What's the right reaction? And I'm going to say doesn't give effort. Doesn't give effort. Correcting or having fun?
I want them to have fun for sure. Oh, you're asking. Oh, yeah, correct.
Yeah.
No, correcting
is this,
for sure.
Is this one? Okay.
I have zero tolerance for that. I really that's one thing. If you asked me, what are you proud about as a dad? I've made a ton of mistakes, but I've been really, really consistent on effort and attitude. I cannot stand it. And it's like this in my professional life. And I played basketball growing up too. Like I have zero tolerance for selfishness at all.
Okay. What about grades? Like the report card comes home. We got our first report card for a kindergartner the other day.
Yeah.
Is this a time to correct or is this a time to encourage?
Well, kindergarten, I think listen, all I can encourage you in kindergarten is throw away everything that they bring home and just make sure
I don't think we should revisit that one. We're going to get in trouble.
Yeah. No, grades. So I'm not going to say which child in case they listen at one point, but one of our kids is much better at school, much, I think, smarter, honestly. It's just sad to say, but that's the reality. And the one that is not tries really, really hard. And we have never had a conversation about, you got to bring this grade up. The other one,
So it is all about effort for you.
All effort. Last year, school year, one of them was slipping big time. And it was all about not even putting in any effort, not trying. And I think that's the right, you reward and you want to build up effort. You want them to do their best.
Is that one of your Blumenthal family values?
Yeah, I don't think it was ever said. Like, it wasn't like we put it on the wall, but it definitely was hammered home into me. But again, I think it's a bigger thing. To me, I never played individual sports.
Yeah.
It's always part of a team. And so inherently, if you're not giving your best, you're hurting the whole and the group. And like I said, I'm operate that way at work too. I just want everyone to be about something bigger than them and to be giving their very, very best. And so it's like, unfortunately for my kids, I sniff it out real quick.
But you point them to this is the why.
The why.
Laura is better at that than I am. She, like, anytime the kids are going to quit on something, hey, Scott, don't quit. Scott, I like that she's not just saying don't quit. She's saying that's not who we are.
Yeah, this is who we are. This is the brand of our brand is we're going to be known for this. That's beautiful.
I like it. Well, I don't know that we have any answers.
Nope.
We have a lot of problems, a lot of good challenges, but you made a statement early on in this podcast. Actually, I think it was when we had Mike Lynch on, and he said something to the effect of like, I've never seen a dad who's trying, who's doing
I've never met a bad dad who's trying to be great.
I think that my takeaway in this area is if we're trying, we may not always get it right on the long-term intentionality versus the short-term fun, but if we are intentional and we're trying to be great, more times than not, we'll make the right decision. And I think our kids will give us grace for it.
Yeah, I'll close with I think that if you listen to one of these episodes or you've listened to however many we've done, if that is, there's a few takeaways, that is one of on the Mount Rushmore of takeaway.
Good. All right, let's do it again.
Thanks for listening to Legacy Makers with Kevin Scott and Eric Blumenthal. Make sure you download and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group. All rights reserved.